can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition? No,
Yeah,
I can't.
you can't?
Not in
Okay.
this context.
So you
I'm not a
believe the meaning
biologist.
of the word?
What is a woman?
Yeah. Great question. I'm not a woman, so I can't really answer that.
Given comments by Keir Starmer in Britain, how do you and how does this government define a woman?
To be honest, Sean, that question's come slightly out of left field for me. Well, biology, sex, gender. People define themselves. People define their own genders.
Keir Starmer has said that he believes 99.9% of women do not have penises. And I know it's a strange thing for him to say, but given recent events in New Zealand, I'd ask again, how do you define what a woman is?
Well, I think as I've just indicated, I wasn't expecting that question, so it's not something that I've, pre-formulated an answer on. But in terms of gender identity, I think people define their gender identity for themselves.
Let's define our terms. A woman is an adult female with XX chromosomes. You tell me, what is a woman?
I think a woman is somebody who identifies as a woman.
Got it. So that's not a definition. That's like saying a table is something that identifies as a table. Give me an objective definition of
No,
how...
it's not. A table is an object.
Well,
A table can't identify as anything. It doesn't have
but
choice.
You have to give me an objective definition of what a woman is.
If I decided right now that I wanted to identify as a woman, I would be a woman.
Okay, but that doesn't answer the question.
I know, but
you
right
said-
now I'm a man, right? So if that
But you have
happened
to
right
tell
now,
me
I'd be a
what
woman.
that thing
So
is.
once a person makes the decision to identify as a woman,
Got it. No,
they're a woman.
that's a separate issue. What is a woman?
That's the definition.
No, I know, but you have to tell me what...
A person who identifies themselves as a woman.
But you have how do you know that they are that thing?
How do I don't need to know what they are. I can ask them if I want to know.
But there needs to be, you need to tell me what that thing is, though.
Somebody who... Okay,
You need
sorry,
to
we're
give
not
me-
getting anywhere.
But you know that you're a woman.
Yes.
What is that?
So gender is a social thing. It only
I don't
makes
want to hear
sense.
that. What is a
social-
woman? What is a woman?
What is a woman?
The word woman, define in the dictionary. Go.
A woman is somebody who is included and respected and seen and participates in society, recognized by other women. If you speak with women,
Circular definition.
that's mine, whatever.
Define woman. Go, please. It's one of you.
A person who their internal idea of what they are is a woman.
Terrible definition. Coming from a lesbian, that destroys the very concept of our sexual orientation. Just saying that it's an idea.
Why?
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 Because you can't be connected and sexually attracted to somebody's brain.
Yes, no question. Do you believe there's a difference?
Well, I think that we're talking about this case with the
No, I'm asking a question. Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? Most people could answer this very simply. I'm curious if you're willing to do so.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just putting it into the context of the conversation that we're having. I think that there are definitions related to sex.
Is
but
that
I
a
also
yes?
think
So I'm
that when
trying to
we're-
get a yes or no. I'm not trying to get a speech.
I'm
Is there a difference between women and men?
I think that there are definitions for biological sex.
Okay, so you're
which
not
is
answering
different
that.
It makes me wonder, what is a woman?
What is a woman? A woman is someone who claims that as their identity. It could be many things to many people.
As the Office for Women, what definition of woman do you use?
What definition of women do we use? Could you maybe give us a bit more context
Of course.
for the question?
You oversee and promote a range of initiatives, funding programs, specifically designated for women. How do you define what a woman is to determine eligibility for the purposes of providing advice on women's policy to government and ministers?
So, in terms of in the Office for Women, we recognise individuals who identify as women, and that's in accordance with the Australian Government guidelines on the recognition of sex and gender.
Right.
What is a woman?
Well,
can you tell me what a woman is?
No, I can't. Womanhood is something that is an umbrella term. It includes people
That describes what?
people who identify as a woman.
What is that?
Was to each their own. Each woman, each man, each person is going to have a different relation with their own gender identity and define it differently.
Judge Wise, I do want to start with you. We've talked some about Girls, Inc. this morning, and I know that you had said in response to Senator Lee that the statement he was referring was sent out or on the website of the national organization and not Alameda County. So I went to Alameda County, and their website says, and I'm quoting, girls refers to gender expansive youth. Cis girls, trans girls, non-binary youth, gender non-conforming youth, gender queer youth, and any girl identified youth, end quote. So since you were a member of that group for years and supported them, is it fair to assume that that is also your definition of girl?
Thank you and good morning.
Good morning.
And I apologize, I certainly didn't mean to misspeak when it came to what Senator Lee had asked. I'm not familiar with those statements.
But
and
you
I've
are
never
familiar with Alameda County, and that's what I'm asking for your response. Is your definition of girl the same as Alameda County has on their website, their Girls, Inc. website?
I have not thought about a definition of girl in that way before. I don't think those are the words that I would.
Definition of girl and woman. What's your definition?
I think certainly as I was raised, and I have believed that generally speaking, for nearly all of us, the sex that we are assigned at birth by the doctor is what we are, and it's. Okay. I think that applies appropriately to the majority.
Let me move on.
What is a woman?
Oh. A woman is somebody who presents as our social conception of womanhood.
So
you acts in such a way.
So Pixie, just can you answer that question without using the word woman or womanhood?
It's because basically it would be a functional definition. So as a society, we have an understanding of what woman is.
What is that?
Man.
Yeah, that's basically.
I am a man.
Well done.
Can you elaborate? XY chromosomes.
Okay, but the problem with that is that I didn't check your chromosomes before coming in here and calling you a man, and you didn't check my chromosomes before coming in here.
Or genitals.
Or genitals, calling me a woman.
So let me just play this out. So first of all, you can't give me a definition without using the word woman.
That's a functional definition. Yeah, sure. Do you know what functional definitions are?
I'm very well aware, and you should have a functional definition for the most important question in civilization, right?
Well, the point of a functional definition, functional definitions are a definition that is by the function of something. So, like, for example,
no, there's an objective
1 =
definition.
1 is one is a function of 1. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do. So then, can you give me an objective, a functional, utilitarian, any sort of biological definition of what a woman is? Because how can we debate feminism if we can't agree what a woman is?
I would even, I feel like Pixie's definition absolutely satisfies the definition of what constitutes womanhood, but I would define it only slightly differently, which is that it's a person who performs a set of social roles that are typically associated with feminine characteristics, but not necessarily, because there are even cis women who fall outside of this, and we still consider them women nonetheless. Like butch lesbians, for example, are women that exhibit very masculine characteristics, but nonetheless society understands them to be women. So
do you think anyone can become a woman?
Yep, but not anyone will.
Okay, so then at what point do they become a woman?
It will depend on where they are in their gender transition for the most part.
Does it require drugs to become a woman?
No.
Personally, I think it's a mindset. It's a spiritual energy. It's the vibe that you give off. You know, like
the vibe.
The biological definition is actually what I think is a woman. Biology determines whether you're male or female. I think anyone can put themselves forward as a woman. So if you're from a biological point of view, if you were born a man but you wish to present yourself as a woman, live as a woman, I think you could. Yes, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Professor Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing that.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
because of my line of questioning? So we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist
I'm
is
denying that trans people exist by asking you if you're talking about women having pregnancies?
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can get
So you are
pregnant.
denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you, or are they also treated like this, where
No,
they're told
allowed
that
to
they're
question me.
opening up people to violence?
We have a good
by
time in my
questioning?
class. You should join.
Oh, I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot
I
just in this
know,
exchange.
absolutely.
Extraordinary.
Yep.
What is a woman?
Why do you ask that question?
I just really like to know.
What do you think the answer to that question is?
Well, I'm asking. That's why I came to a college professor who's this is what you do.
What other kinds of answers have you gotten?
A lot of like this, where you're not answering, and I've gotten a lot of that. So the biggest, broadest question is, what is a woman?
A woman is it's a combination of your physical attributes and then what you're showing to the world and the gender clues that you give. And hopefully those match your gender identity.
I think being a woman, if you want to identify as a woman, then that's what you are. I don't really read much that further into it, I suppose. If you present yourself as a woman and you want to be called she, her, then that's what I'm going to call you. And, that's down to personal choice.
I think it's difficult because obviously not all women, biological females, have breasts or periods or can have children, and that's kind of the biological checkbox. So you can't really pin people in, biological checkboxes. I think it's just whatever you want, man. I'm not going to stop you. If you want
not that deep, isn't it?
Yeah, if you want to be a woman, then that's fine with me.
Which leads me to my first question, Ms. Wiley. Can you define what a woman is?
A woman is a person who says she is. And let me just tell you one story about this, because when I was a child...
No, you're not going to tell me a story. We're not doing that right now. It's not story time.
Yeah, it is story time, because when I was a child, I was
No, it's not. I'm going to reclaim my time. Be quiet. I'm going to reclaim my time right now. Biological women are real women. A guy born as a man who wants to pretend to be a woman and put him in his big gym and the twins in the locker room with underage girls, or his little gym and twins, by the way, is disgusting. I have a daughter. She turned 14 last year. I took her to a store called Aerie for her birthday. We went shopping for an hour in downtown Charleston, South Carolina. She was taken to her dressing room by a biological male in a miniskirt and a lace bralette. It is disgusting. I have no idea if that man was over 18 or under 18. It is absolutely disgusting that we're redefining what women are and allowing men into women's private spaces. And by the way, Miss Wiley, I am a survivor of rape. I was raped at the age of 16. I am not going to put other women and girls into unsafe situations where biological men with their willy-nillys out, putting women and girls at risk. It's absurd, it's disgusting, and I have 1 minute and 50 seconds left of my questioning. Do you believe, Ms. Wiley, that you need to have a PhD in biology to know what a woman is? Yes or no? Is that a yes or a no?
First
to
of all,
my
I just say
question?
you
I'm
are
running
right.
out of time.
I am so sorry, and you should never
You
have had
didn't
to
do
suffer
it.
from
Do you
sexual
need a PhD
violence.
in biology to know what a woman is? I've been rape shamed by the left, and I'm not going to allow any of that stuff to happen today. Do you believe that you need a PhD to define what a woman is? Yes or no is the question.
I think every woman is able to define herself as a woman.
It's not how it works. There's biology and science. I would encourage every American to follow the science. Are there risks to women when biological men are in a bathroom with them, Ms. Wiley? Yes or no?
We have every reason to want everyone to be
Can't
safe.
even
and
answer the question.
We are
so
not
the left,
safe
everybody
or
listen
unsafe.
to the left today. They cannot say yes or no when in asking whether or not there are risks to women when biological men are in the bathroom. Can't even say yes or no in the hearing today. This is lunacy. This is absurd. This gender-bending ideology of the left is disgusting. It's absurd. It's absolute lunacy, and it is a mental health issue in our country. If you agree with this ideology of allowing men into women's spaces, you have a mental health problem in this country.
Can someone please provide me with a definition of what a woman is? Department of Health. Definition of a man, definition of a woman. Anyone?
It's pretty basic.
Basic stuff. Professor Murphy.
Look, I think there are a variety of definitions, and I think
just a simple
perhaps to give a more fulsome answer, we should take that on notice.
You're going to take on notice the question of what a woman is.
No, well, there are a variety. It's a very contested space at the moment, Senator.
It's not just a woman who's born a woman.
But there are definitions in terms of how people identify themselves. So we're happy to provide our working definition on those.
One of the, I've only been here 2 years. That's the best thing I've seen thus far. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to know, what is a woman?
And you're not going to find out.
In a sentence, how do you define a woman, Mr. Albanese?
An adult female.
An adult female?
Yeah.
Mr. Morrison?
Yes, I'm adult, a member of the female sex.
Because there's been a degree of confusion around that issue, so good to get your clarity on that.
Not confused at all. I don't think it's confusing.
Well, that's good to hear.